we're going to take you through installing Klikflor in a small area like this garage. Before ordering, measure the area and work out how many tiles you need. All our tiles measure 500mm by 500mm. This particular garage was 15 square metres and needed 60 tiles to complete. For an area like this, we would recommend our 5mm thick tile. This can be ordered directly from our website. Before the installation, the floor needs any gaps or holes filled in, and then the whole area swept to ensure there's no loose debris. If the area is cold, that's under 15 degrees centigrade, then warm the area up with the tiles inside. This will allow the tiles to acclimatise. The tools you will need include a measuring tape, a metal ruler, a rubber mallet and a chalk line reel. For cutting the tiles there are several options. We suggest using a Stanley knife or a guillotine. Depending on the area, you may also need adhesive and double-sided tape. The adhesive is needed if the area where the tiles are to be installed is in direct sunlight or is directly under skylights. Please ask us if you're not sure about this. Double-sided tape can come in useful if your tiles are to finish near a doorway or an adjoining area. We can also provide you with edge tiles for this purpose. Use your measuring tape to work out the best layout for your tiles. You want to avoid leaving yourself with small fiddly cuts around walls and posts. Having worked this out, make a mark near the middle of the floor where the edge of one of your tiles will be. Now, measure from this mark to one of the walls. Make a couple of further marks top and bottom of the area using this same measurement. You'll end up with a number of marks that are at an equal distance from the wall. To get an accurate straight line, screw down the chalk line reel so that it covers over the top mark. Take the reel and use the string to line up all the marks. When you're happy that everything lines up, ping the string to make the chalk line. You now have an accurate straight line to work from. Bear in mind that this is probably the most important step to get right. If you don't start with a straight line, everything else can quickly become very difficult. Start hammering together your first line of tiles. Add tiles to either side of this line to anchor this initial line down. Now, move the tiles and line them up accurately with a chalk mark. This is now a straight and stable base to add the rest of the tiles to. Continue adding tiles until you're ready to make any necessary cuts. Between the tiles and any wall, there needs to be a 5mm expansion gap. To help you accurately measure this, the corner of every tile has a marker set back 5mm from the main lug of the tile. If you imagine that the metal ruler is the wall, we can see that by measuring up to the edge of this marker, we allow the 5mm gap. To make a cut, turn the tile upside down. Push it so that the lugs are against the wall. Now, mark the tile using the edge of this marker. Now do the same the other side. You can now mark up a whole row of tiles before you start cutting. To cut the tile with a knife, use one of your tiles upside down to guard your floor. Put the tile to be cut on top. Now use the metal ruler to line up the marks you've made on the tile and make the cut. You may need to go over the cut a few times. The tile now fits, leaving the 5mm expansion gap. To speed up the process of cutting the tiles, you can hire out a guillotine. The marks on the tile are lined up as before and the cut is made. If you're attempting to cover a large area with the tiles, using the guillotine is certainly worth considering. Now continue making cuts and work your way around the wall. There's always going to be tricky areas in any installation. This section here has two walls at different depths with a pillar between them. To make the middle tile fit, you'll need to make a number of measurements, marks and cuts. The middle tile is currently cut roughly to size. Lift up the left-hand tile and attach it to the middle tile. Use your ruler and pen to mark the top of the left-hand tile on the middle one. Do the same using the tile on the right-hand side. You now have the depth the tile needs to be on either side. Next, you need to take a couple of measurements at each side of the pillar. Measure from the left-hand side of the pillar to the inside of the lug. This again is done in order to leave a 5mm expansion gap around the tile. Now, use that measurement to mark up the left-hand side of the middle tile. Take a measurement at the front of the pillar to the inside of the lug and mark that up. As the pillar may not be straight, take another measurement at the other side of the pillar and mark that up too. Now take the final measurement from the right-hand side of the pillar and transfer that to the middle tile. You can now use the metal ruler and knife to make the cuts by following the lines you've drawn. As before, protect your floor by using a spare tile underneath the one you'll be cutting. Finally, fit the finished cut tile. You'll notice again that a 5mm expansion gap is left around the tile where it meets the wall. To finish the job off, the tiles are cut flush with the edge of the concrete at the front of the garage. We complete the job by securing double-sided tape under the front of the tiles. And this is how the garage looks after the floor is fitted. This was how it looked before. Remember that you can contact us via our website. We're happy to answer all your questions at any stage in the process by phone or email.